Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. MrRecon here. We have the Girls Expected 2 video for you guys. Just a reminder, stream will be at 9 a.m. on Saturday. So stay tuned for that. Hope you guys show up for that. We're going to be doing Lovely's Journey, so stop by for that. Also, today I just wanted to talk about the new meta in PvP, essentially. Of course, if everybody's been testing, we had the UL last week. UL's about to start this week again. People in the Discord discussing what it looks like and stuff like that. I can tell you for sure that it's turning into a burst meta and a speed meta. So the faster you go and the more damage you can do, the better off you are, which is great. It's a little bit of a change from the meta being 15, sometimes 30 rounds back, it would just take forever. It had its time. When we first started off, we had a mediocre meta going throughout stages, and then we had this huge turn one, or I should say round one, round two, just ending everything. It got really annoying. Everyone was just running the same exact team. I was just kind of very stagnant and stale. And then, of course, after that, we kind of broke out of it a little bit, and then we got into this little Vivian. There was a little bit of combinations of going on with just one Vivian and two. And then, of course, 6 Vivian showed up, 6 Snaps, and then Apates, and it was stale for a while now. And now we're changing it. Lots of girls. There's different combinations you can use, essentially. There's a case in point, someone made a point that there's not one team that benefits more than all. That's true. There could be a higher win consistent rate of one team above the others, but we still don't have other girls to get extra copies, so we don't know for sure yet. But right now, my team that I have, for me, is my more consistent team. I do really well in it. There are some girls that counteract it and make it a little bit troublesome and reduce the consistency of it down, but there's definitely, you can see where there's some more girls together that are more consistent than others. Doesn't mean other girls don't work, but overall you're looking for consistency. So let's start off with the big new girl, new change. Not really new girl, but new change. So Holly, on her, she essentially hoses Vivian's, sometimes Apate's on their basic attacks, or she does on their basic attacks. Any other girl that has a random attack essentially just kind of gets under their skin and makes it to where she attacks her. Yeah, there's times when Holly will die to 2 galaxy marks, but the point is that that's her whole job, is to just make sure that all the damage is focused on her, so other girls don't really take anything, and they can just kill the other girls as quickly as possible. And there's chances she does survive sometimes she dies. So if you're building a Holly and you make her and you're like, well, she dies all the time. Okay, here's the question. Are you winning the fights all the time? If she's dying all the time, but you're still winning, does it really matter? That means she's doing her job. I just want to throw that out there because a lot of people were like, I'm not building her right, yada, yada. It's that could be true. But it's also what is the rest of the information that you're trying to say? Are you still winning the fights? If you are, then it's kind of okay. That's how she's operating. So just wanted to say that on her. We'll talk about Cassie right here. She's right here. Cassie's just a support girl. She enables things, buffs damage, speed. She doubles that for assassins. So maybe they'll come out with an OG assassin girl that's really, really good. Von Helsing's not bad. Obviously, she's very, very good. We'll talk about her in a second. But there's still better teams to do than that. Von Helsing does good in certain teams, but she is good, but she's not the best one that you're going for. Optimal team, I should say. Maybe in the future, if we figure something out, maybe we can make her an optimal team. But there's still some good teams with her. I'm not going to lie. So we'll cover her in a second. But as far as Cassie goes, she's simple. She just enables girls to do more damage. And she does decent amount of damage herself. And she targets one girl, so it kind of helps out in fights. For instance, if you're trying to finish off girls with Angelica or a Von Helsing, Cassie usually attacks first. She hits and then proceeds to follow up on an active. So this, so you put fake crystal on her, right? She hits and then does another part of her active onto it. So it maybe reduces the health down to 50%, right? You might not think that's a big deal, but in the grand schemes of bursting the damage and getting it quickly done, that's pretty huge because once you get a hit from an Angelica, they might proc the shields and then do damage to other girls, and you're hoping that the girl that you want to hit's the lowest HP girl, so it gets targeted by the pings. And maybe that Cassie created that instance because it happens a lot. That pings will target the one that Cassie did to lower the damage more than the other girls per se. And then the shields are already procced, so then the pings should just 2 more pings on the shields, and then it's dead essentially on the third one, which is what you're looking for. All right, and then let's move on to Apate real quick. I know it's kind of a weird burst damage. Apate As of right now on my team, she's still very useful. If you don't have double Cassie, I'm trying to figure out how that would work. Maybe I take the Holly out, maybe I take the Apate out. Of course, testing when needed, but I don't have a double Cassie to test that. But as of right now, Apate is actually still very valuable on your team. It obviously it's RNG based, but giving her energy to go quickly, removing energy from, let's say they're running Angelicas and they're running a speed build on them with fake crystals or something. Being able to remove that so that stuns them for one extra turn and getting yours off before them actually makes a huge difference, if that makes sense. So just because we're going into the burst meta doesn't mean Apate is useless. She has her uses. Obviously, it's RNG based, but she's still very, very useful and she can be applied. You just got to play around and see where you can make her work. Sometimes when you're facing teams, she might not be as good. Sometimes she may be. It just all depends. So you just have to keep that in mind. Next up, let's talk about Skye in the meta. Where is she? Right here. Okay, so essentially, she wasn't good for a long time. People were always asking, telling her just to feed off her copies. Unlike with the dumpster fire, Holly, she was horrible. She was the worst girl in the game. Shit, probably some food 5-star girls were better than her. Let's tell you the truth. She was really, really bad. Really bad. They tried to do reworks on her. It just didn't work. Buffs didn't do anything. Then they did this whole rework on the dumpster fire right now, and people were like, sometimes I regret people saying that, yeah, go ahead and fodder her, because we didn't expect it. We didn't think they'd ever do anything about it, even though we told them to. But they actually listened for a chance, which was great. So that's bad. But when it came to Skye, talking about her, majority of people, including myself, said, hey, she's not good right now. Her kit is not bad. She's at the wrong place at the wrong time, right? Same thing with Von Helsing when she came out, when it was the Apate, Vivian, and Death Meta. Excuse me. She came out at the wrong time. If she came out before Apate, she probably would have been really, really, really good. She's good, don't get me wrong, but she came out at the wrong time. I know I repeat myself, but just reiterating it. But Skye is the same principle here. But now that we're running into a burst meta and speed is important, she's becoming very, very important. Plus, you can do some shenanigans with her. Not going to say what they are. I don't want to give them away. But there are some cheeky shenanigans. It's pretty easy to figure out that she can do. And it is pretty fun to watch and see. So, I'm hoping you didn't feed your Skye copies away, because she's becoming very important in this meta. And I think that she's going to make big waves. I've also seen her do lots of damage too. I've seen her do like 7 million a hit. So, it's kind of nice to see that you can get some damage out of her. Like, I'm not saying crazy number damage out of her, like, let's say 100 million like Angelica does, that kind of stuff. But I've seen her do like 20 million at the end of a fight, which before that she was only getting like 1 million, 2 million when she first came out, and was like, she's kind of lackluster. But now she's shown that her true colors, and it is awesome and amazing. I should say that. And I'm glad that I still have copies of her, and the fact that she's still useful. So that is great on that end for that. All right, lastly, we're going to talk about the big girl making big waves for damage-wise. Obviously, all the other girls are making huge waves. Oh, sorry. Before we do that, I need to give this girl some love, too, because people are on talking about her. Von Helsing, right? She targets the girl with the highest attack. Obviously, you can do stuff to manipulate this to be in your favor if the other team's using it, which is fine. But she's still really good, and if you don't know how to do that, then she can be problematic for you, I should say. So she needs a lot of testing. I don't really mess with her that much. So as far as what to use on her, I'd probably just ask the Discord. But I don't think she's going to be completely useless. Obviously, she has a use right now. Maybe in the future, she'll be the best girl, because her kit is very good. It's just that when she started, wrong place, wrong time. Now she's good, right? Maybe in the future, she'll be the one that we're going for right off the bat, right? Maybe some other girl will change the meta a little bit, and then she'll become the best one as far as doing that exact type of damage that you want. But you can still make a team with her. Plus with Cassie. So maybe if we have a double Cassie with her, it might work. It might be some fun little things to do, but we'd have to test that and see how that's going to work out. So, essentially. All right, let's go back to the last girl we're going to talk about. Most people are talking about Angelica or Holly, or aka the dumpster fire, I should say about her. People talk about Skye now. A lot of people are talking about everything. But as far as Angelica goes, she's doing huge numbers. We usually see 100 million out of her to fight. Both of them, if you're running a double. Sometimes you see 300 million. There's been screenshots back when she first came out doing like 1 billion. But that's with the Vivian meta. People had like 4 Vivians on a team. And there's a reason why you were doing that much damage, because the Vivians would just heal back up. And they had like 12 million health almost. So it made sense why you were doing that much damage. from one Angelica. But now that we don't have that as much, you're not going to be getting that much crazy damage numbers, but you're still going to be getting a lot, considering that a lot of the girls are not going to have as much health. So usually rounds are between, I would say, 3 to 6. I have finished a round off on one person in round 2. It is possible, but they didn't have the best team, but you can do it. So more than likely, rounds last from 3 to 6. Sometimes they can go past that, but the burst meta right now is going from 3 to 6, essentially. So, of course, on her speed build, whatever you want to do, on everything else, I'm not going to say anything else on that because, UL and stuff. But she is looking, I don't know how long this is going to last for, maybe 4 months. Meta changes all the time. But as of right now, she is the one you're trying to go after and make everything happen. Don't know how the new girl is going to affect it that's coming out. We'll have to wait and see. The tier list, I should say, we're working on it still. We should have, hopefully, I wanted to have it done by the end of August. Hopefully, like the end of August, September 1st, we can have it out. We'll just have to wait and see. We're just hashing out some differences between people talking about what should be what on the tier list. Just part of the nature in the game, but we'll get it there. We'll come to an agreement, so just stay tuned for that. But that's all I got for you. Hopefully this answers some questions on it, on the meta. I know this was kind of a little bit not as in-depth, but it was broad to tell you, like, it is a speed meta. It is a burst meta. These are the 5 girls that I talked about that are really good in the meta. Of course, other girls can be helpful, but these are like main ones that I focus on, or I might try a little bit more on Helsing and testing on that. I've been trying to do it, but not too much success. So other people might have better success than me. So just look out for everybody else too on what they're doing. They might have some more better answers on that. So just look into that on people or ask in the Discord. But that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Stay safe out this crazy world, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.